back. It's me again, Michael Bailey, your senior developmental editor. In the previous video, I mentioned the DE documents library, so I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. There's a lot of DEs in this program from the past and currently working with us, so we've gathered quite a bit of files over the years, and I'm going to share some of that with you now by sharing my screen and how to access that information. So I'm on my dashboard now. Anytime you want, hit this home button, either in the app or on the website. I highly prefer the website over the app, but I like to use the app when the website crashes, which it will sometimes. So don't be too concerned if that happens. But anyway, to access your DE documents library, you can either go into your main folders, and it's right here because it's shared with you. If you click on this little highlighted number of folders, this is everything that's shared with you. I've worked with quite a bit of students, so I have a lot of stuff in there. But the DE documents library is right here for you. And what you can do is open that and then hit this little favorite icon, which of course that on your home screen puts it right here under your favorites. So if you think a helpful document exists, it probably does, and you'll find that here. So before you ask any questions, look here first. But if you need help finding something, just send me a note and I can help direct you where to find it. So you'll have your DE expectations document in here, your library roadmaps, and all these different folders. What you're going to be working out of mostly is resources for DEs and resources for writers that DEs need. So I'll open this one first. Here you'll find everything, all the meeting videos that we have and where to find them. If you missed a meeting, you can rewatch it here. It's mandatory to be at every meeting. I would say go every single week. Put that on your calendar as one of your things. You get paid for it. You can put it on your invoice. Go to these meetings because we cover a lot of ground in a short period of time, and you'll build relationships with your other developmental editors. We become great friends over the years, and we're a fun group of people. So attend the meetings, but if you happen to miss them, you can find them here in the meetings videos. You also have additional resources, videos for DE training, weekly session schedules, information on those book genres and categories, copyright issues, anything that you could ever think of, you can find it here. And if you don't see it here and you want to add it, start working on something to share with everybody. I have a few fiction documents that I'm working on right now to help fiction writers, and I might have a few for poetry writing, but if you're working with a writer on, say, memoirs or capturing interviews, this is where you can find it. Anything and everything is in here. So just kind of get familiar with this. Read through these in your first few weeks as a developmental editor. Just kind of, you don't have to read all these, but if they apply to you and what you're working with, then you can find it here. So give this folder a view. Anything and everything's in here. So key dates, if you're confused on when your cohort needs to turn in their first draft manuscript, you can find it in here. But just feel free to play around. Don't modify the stuff that's in here though, just use it to your benefit and read it. And if you do need to make a copy for whatever reason for your own benefit, what you can do is just right click on it and say copy document. And what you can do is make a copy right into your private folder, and then that makes a copy for you and it opens it up right there. So now this is a copy that you're not destroying, that somebody else has worked on for the last few years. And where you can find those copies, of course, is in your main folders. You have your private folder. So anything you copy can go right here. So now that we're in the private folders, I wanted to kind of go over that. That's where you can keep all of your stuff that only you need access to. Different documents you're working on. If you're working on how to write a chapter for fiction and you want to make some improvements or bring it to the group with, hey, here's what I'm kind of working on. What do you guys think? Throw it here. And then when you're ready to share it, you can, of course, copy it, share it, send a link to somebody, give permission to view it, edit it, whatever. But this is where all your personal stuff goes. Like I've made a copy to the 7 elements of your introduction, because a lot of times my students, when we get to that stage, they can't find it. They didn't go to the class, and they just need to know like what are the 7 things that I need to have in my introduction. And so what I'll do is I have a copy here. So what I can do is when they need it, I just make a copy here, and I can copy it right to my students folder, which you'll find under shared folders instead of private. These are your own personal ones, and then shared. So these are all my students I've had in the past. If I want Amber to have it, I'll click her name. I can choose to put it right in her folder, and then she'll have a copy of it. And of course, that'll open it. You can share a link to it, and then the author has access to it. And then that way it keeps all the templates clean, because the point of having templates is that they don't get messed up. They're here for everybody's use, but we don't want to mess them up in any way. So private folder, DE documents library, check out these places. A lot of the stuff that your writers will need access to would be in this folder that's resources for writers that DEs need, which adequately named. So you open that up, everything they'll ever need is in here. And like I mentioned before, these are all templates, so don't edit them, don't mess them up. This is just documents that you could copy and use for whatever you need. Like here's a blank content index. If a writer screws up their content index, which happens, you can give them a brand new one right here. It's all ready to go. Author traction worksheet, which you'll figure out for your writers in the first few weeks. Interview information, nonfiction tools. It's basically endless. It's all this stuff we've done forever. 7 basic story elements. Just kind of know where these things are at. You don't have to know them inside and out. Just know where to find them. And you can do that just by clicking around and seeing where stuff is. And you can look here for chapter information, components of a chapter, what needs to go in it, scribe writing information, which we'll get to later, hook writing. These are all classes that the students can take, like nugget writing, and you'll kind of figure that out as the program goes along. But just familiarize yourself with what's in here. And if you have any questions, like always, just send me a note and I can help you find it. Otherwise, just poke around and get familiar with Quip. Like I said before, it can take a few weeks to get used to it. But just kind of do your best these first few weeks. It'll all start to come naturally after a while. And then once you get into the routine and your writers get into the routine, it becomes easier and easier. So that way, every time we have our weekly meetings, we'll all get together, we'll all laugh, we'll all cry, we'll talk about our therapy sessions we've had with our students and the horrors that we have and the successes that we have. And that's basically it. So get familiar with those documents. And if you have any questions, just send me a note. Just tag Michael Bailey.